Ohio Precinct Strategy presents How to Run for County Central Committee. Visit ohioprecinctstrategy.org to get involved. This is a simple 12-step process to virtually guarantee your successful election to the County Central Committee of your political party. Step 1. Identify your jurisdiction. Step 2. Get a map of your jurisdiction. Step 3. Get a walking list of voters. Step 4. Obtain the proper candidate form. Step 5. Fill out the candidate form properly. Step 6. Prepare candidate literature piece. Step 7. File by candidate filing deadline. Step 8. Distribute campaign literature. Step 9. Do door-to-door campaigning. Step 10. Chase the absentee voters. Step 11. Do a final delivery last week before election. And step 12. Do Election Day Get Out the Vote activities. Step 1. Identify your jurisdiction. The first thing you must do is identify your voting precinct and the jurisdiction or political subdivision by which your precinct is represented to the County Central Committee of your party. If you already know these things, you may skip ahead to Step 2, Slide 8, entitled Get a Map of Your Jurisdiction. But I encourage you to keep listening because you may pick up some tips that may be helpful. Voting precinct. Determine your voting precinct by looking up your voter registration information at your County Board of Elections (BOE) website or with the Secretary of State at voteohio.gov. The following tutorial will help you in finding your voting precinct. You can look up your voter registration data file by going to your BOE website. Let's say you live in Warren County. Search for Warren County, Ohio Board of Elections. Go to the website. Then click the Registration tab in the menu. Then click Am I Registered? /Sample Ballot in the drop-down list. Type in last name, then first name, and submit. You can actually search for any voter through this page, so if we search for John Smith, we find several voter files with that name. In the third column, you will find the name of the voting precinct, which in the case of the first voter displayed is Franklin Township A. This application provides additional information and resources in the fourth column specific to each voter searched. Some county BOE websites require additional data in order to log in to a voter's registration file, such as birth year or house number. Another way to search for a voter's registration is at voteohio.gov. This is a statewide application provided by the Secretary of State. Scroll down a little and find the box Look Up Your Voter Registration and click that. Then put in first name, last name, and county. This application provides a limited amount of data for the voter. The voting precinct is the fourth data item down. Jurisdiction represented to the County Central Committee. Next, and this is an important step, you must find out how your precinct is represented to the County Central Committee of your political party from your county BOE. It will be either by your individual precinct or by the city, ward, or township that contains your precinct. To do this, you must find a list of the current members of the County Central Committee. Sometimes lists of County Central Committees are available on the Board of Elections website, but you may have to call or visit in person. The following tutorial will help you in finding your committee. Finding your committee. We are going to search for a current list of County Central Committee members and the jurisdictions they represent. Let's try Medina County. Search for Medina County, Ohio Board of Elections. Go to the website and look for Elected Officials. Click the menu box Elected Officials. Then click the box All Elected Officials. Then click the box Please select a district type. Scroll to the last item on the drop-down menu, Central Committee Members, and click that selection. Then click the box filter by district name and select Central Com Rep if you want the Republican committee, or click Central Com Dem if you want the Democratic committee. We will select Central Com Rep for this exercise. Once you've made that selection, click the box Display Officials. The current list of committee members will appear. The first slot on the list is for BC1A, Brunswick City, Ward 1, Precinct A, and the member's name is below. The seat, however, is vacant. The next slot, as you scroll down, BC1B, is the next jurisdiction represented, and the name and address of the occupant of that seat is listed. The current occupant of this seat was appointed. It tells you that the term for this seat is 4 years. You can also gather that each precinct in Medina County is represented on the Republican Central Committee. The next member listed after this was also appointed. Finally, for the fourth seat listed, BC1D, the member was actually elected. As you scroll down through the entire list, you can see all the jurisdictions that are represented to the Central Committee, which seats are filled, which seats are vacant, and which have been appointed. Try this for your county. You can also get a list of those committeemen who have been elected by looking at the election results from the previous 2 even-numbered year primary elections. On the home page of the BOE, click Election Info, then Election Night Results, then 2020/March 17, 2020 cumulative results. This will show you who ran, which were write-ins, and how many votes they got. If you analyze this list for Medina County, you will find that of 121 possible seats, 32 are vacant and 32 were appointed. So only 57 were actually elected, less than half. Of the 57 elected, 12 were write-ins and only 2 had contested races. All but 2 had no opponent. This is public information that must be made available to you by your County Board of Elections according to Ohio Revised Code section 3517.06. These lists should include the names and addresses of elected members and the jurisdictions they are elected to represent. Print out the text of this section of the law and take it with you to the Board of Elections. If you encounter any resistance, quote to them from the code. All such lists shall be open to public inspection at all times. Step 2. Get a map of your jurisdiction. Obtain a map of the precinct, ward, or township you wish to represent from your county BOE. You may visit in person, you may call and request by email, or you may be able to download a printable copy from the website. The following tutorial will help you in finding a printable map of your jurisdiction. Once you know the jurisdiction you wish to represent, you should obtain a map from your BOE. Each county is a little different as to making maps available to the public. Let's try a few counties. Search for Franklin County, Ohio Board of Elections. Go to the website and click Menu at the top. Under the category Maps and Data, click Ward Maps. Select the subdivision you want, for example, Columbus Ward 1. Download and print the map PDF on your printer. Search for Delaware County, Ohio Board of Elections. Go to the site, click Resources and Data tab at the top. Then click Precinct Map Book to open a PDF of all the county precinct maps. Scroll to the precinct you want and just print that page. Search Clark County, Ohio Board of Elections. Select Candidate and Voter Tools in the menu. Then select Voter Lookup Search. Enter a name and submit. In the fourth column over to the right, select Precinct Map and print. For some county boards of elections, finding maps may be difficult or not available on their websites. You may have to call or visit in person. In some cases, you may have to contact the county auditor or county engineer to access a printable map of your precinct, ward, or township. Be persistent. Maps are public resources which must be made available. The county may charge a printing fee, but there should be no charge for an electronic file of the map image. It is public information. Get a walking list of voters. Obtain a walking list of voters in your political subdivision, precinct, ward, or township that you wish to represent on the County Central Committee. You need this list of registered voters to know who to approach for signatures on your petition and who are the likely voters who will vote for you in the primary election. Call or visit your BOE or BOE website. Here are the features of a useful walking list of voters. Have your list organized by precinct, street, and house number so that you may conveniently walk down a street and hit all the targeted voters on that street. Then proceed to the next street. The preferred minimum columns of voter data should include name, address, birth year, party, and name of precinct. Filter your list by party designation, R, D, U, or others. You will only need a list of your own party members for County Central Committee elections, which take place in partisan primary elections in even-numbered years. However, you can reach out to additional voters and ask them to vote your party ballot if you wish. The following tutorial will show you how to download a walking list. In order to download and print a walking list of targeted voters in the political subdivision you wish to represent, go to your BOE website. Let's say you live in Licking County. Search for Licking County, Ohio Board of Elections. Go to the website and in the menu at the top, click Candidate and Voter Tools. Then select the red box, Voter Report Generation. Under Output Format, click the bubble for PDF Report. In the next category, you can specify which year or type of election for the voters. For now, just leave as the selection No Election Filter. Since you are only targeting primary election voters of your party, in the next category down, deselect all parties except your own. If you are a Republican, just leave Republican checked. If you are a Democrat, just leave Democratic checked. If you want to reach out to more voters, you may include other categories, but these generally do not vote in your party primary, if they vote in primaries at all. So you don't want to waste your efforts. Focus on the likely voters in your party primary. The next category down, additional filtering, is the jurisdiction you are seeking. If you want to represent a single precinct, as is the case for Licking County, or several precincts in a ward or township, check the bubble Filter on Precinct. Click the Beginning Precinct box and a list of all possible precincts will drop down. Scroll to your precinct and select. Say, for example, you live in Newark, Ward 6, Precinct A. Select Newark 6A. For the ending precinct, also select Newark 6A. The next category is, how would you like your output sorted? Select the bubble Precinct Walking List. Click Start Processing. Then click the blue box, Download My File. Then open the file in your downloads entitled voterreport.pdf. Then print the file on your printer or save it as Newark 6A and get it printed at your local copy store. If your county central committee is represented by city, ward, and township, each containing several precincts, go back to the box where you designate the precincts you want and expand the range. If, for example, you want a list of all Newark Ward 6, select Newark 6A for beginning precinct, then for ending precinct select Newark 6E. Then proceed as before to select Precinct Walking List and start processing. This will give you a walking list of the entire ward sorted by precinct, then by street and house number. Take your printed map of the political subdivision and staple it together with your printed walking list. If you are unable to do this at home, call your BOE. They can email you a list or print one for you. They may charge you a printing fee. There are alternative ways to create your own walking list by converting voter data text files available from the Secretary of State into Excel spreadsheets and crafting those to your needs, but that is for the more advanced. Suffice it to say, your Board of Elections can and should provide you with a list upon request. Step 4. Obtain the proper candidate form. To become a certified candidate and have your name appear on the ballot in the primary election, you must complete and file the proper candidate form at your BOE. Contact your BOE and determine which form, Form 2L or Form 2M, is used for your party's Central Committee. Form 2L is a declaration of candidacy and petition requiring 5 to 15 signatures of voters in your jurisdiction. Form 2M is a declaration of candidacy, no petition, which requires no voter signatures. Form 2L is a legal-sized document, 8.5 by 14 inches, with 2 sides. Here is what Form 2L looks like. Form 2M is a letter-sized, one-sided document, 8.5 by 11 inches. Here is what Form 2M looks like. The BOE must provide proper form. The County Board of Elections can provide you with the proper form and assist you with completing it correctly. Ohio Revised Code Section 3513.051 requires the county political parties to declare at least 120 days before the primary election which form shall be filed at the BOE. The forms can also be downloaded from the Ohio Secretary of State website at the following link for forms and petitions. When printing forms, use legal-size paper for 2L, 8.5 by 14, and letter-size paper for 2M, 8.5 by 11. One-stop shop. Potentially, with one visit to your County Board of Elections, you could accomplish the first 4 steps. Find out your jurisdiction, get a map, get a walking list of voters, and get the proper form with instructions. Hopefully, your County Board of Elections has good customer service. Here is a model script when visiting your County Board of Elections. Hi, my name is Joe Citizen, and my address is 110 Main Street, Central Point, Ohio. Can you show me what precinct I am in? Can you tell me how I am represented in my precinct to the County Central Committee of my party? I am a Republican or Democrat. Who is the current person who represents me to the County Central Committee? Does he or she represent my precinct alone, or the city, ward, or township that contains my precinct? Can I see a list of the entire County Central Committee for my party? How long are the terms for County Central Committee members of my party? When is the next election for these seats? What candidate form is used by my party for candidates running for County Central Committee? Form 2L or Form 2M? Can you give me the form I need? Do you have an instruction sheet to help me fill out the candidate form properly? Can I look at candidate forms that have been filed for this office in past elections? I would like a map of the jurisdiction, precinct, city, ward, or township of the County Central Committee seat that represents me. I would also like a walking list of registered voters who are members of my party in the same jurisdiction, organized by precinct, street, and house number. Can you get those for me? Thank you. Take with you a copy of Ohio Revised Code statutes that are applicable. ORC Section 3517.02 through 06 and 3513.051. You can download a bulleted version of this model script and these applicable Ohio Revised Code sections on our website. Fill out candidate form properly. The 6 necessary steps listed here we will address one by one. Complete the Declaration of Candidate section by providing your name as registered, your voting address, your county, and your party. Fill in the blanks for only one of the bullet points designating your political subdivision represented to the County Central Committee and the date of the primary election. Check with your BOE to make sure you are selecting the right bullet point and filling in the blanks properly. After you've selected your proper bullet point, Then make sure you fill in the date of the primary election. Let's walk through the bullet point to correctly identify the political subdivision you wish to represent. You must correctly identify the jurisdiction or political subdivision you wish to represent to the County Central Committee of your political party. In most counties, each voting precinct is represented, but in some counties, usually urban counties, each city ward and each township, each containing multiple precincts, is represented. Here's what the form instructions say. Note: you must fill in the blanks beside the appropriate bullet point that indicates the one political subdivision in which you reside and wish to represent as a member of a political party's county central committee. If your county political party chooses to elect by each individual voting precinct, choose one of the first three bullet points. For example, the Stark County Republican Party elects by precinct. If you live in Jackson Township Precinct 7, you will choose the first bullet point, Precinct 7, Township of Jackson. If you live in Navarre Precinct A, use the second bullet point, Precinct A, City or Village of Navarre. If you live in Canton, Ward 4, Precinct F, use the third bullet point, Precinct F, Ward 4, City or Village of Canton. If your county political party elects by city, ward, and township, use one of the next three bullet points. For Franklin County, if you live in Columbus Ward 5, use the fourth bullet point, Ward 5, City or Village of Columbus. If you live in the Village of Marble Cliff, use the fifth bullet point, Village of Marble Cliff. If you live in Perry Township, use the sixth bullet point, Township of Perry. Do not use the seventh bullet point, County of blank. After the bullet points, make sure you fill in the date of the primary election and then complete the section by filling in your party, the current date, and your signature. If you have Form 2L, fill out Petition for Candidate section by providing the party and name of candidate in the paragraph before the chart for voter signatures. Circulate the petition and obtain 5 to 15 good signatures from registered voters in your political subdivision who are members of the same party or unaffiliated. Use your walk list to make sure those signing are registered voters with correct party designation. Make sure those who sign use the proper date so that the dates are in chronological order. Have a flyer, handout, or literature piece to introduce yourself while circulating your petition. See Step 6. Complete circulator statement. Fill out your name, party, and total number of signatures. Make sure the number is correct. Signature and voting address of circulator is required. You should circulate your own petition, but if for some reason you cannot, the circulator must be of the same political party. Step 6. Prepare a candidate literature piece. Prepare a flyer, literature piece, or handout to distribute door to door, mail to targeted voters, and pass out at the polls. Display prominently in a highly visible fashion the following required information: your name, the office, County Central Committee, you are running for, date of election, contact information, and a few policy positions. There are many ways to design a literature piece. Here is one example. Do not make your literature too busy, long, or complicated. It should be clear, hard-hitting, and to the point. It should attract the voters' interest and be something they can hang on their refrigerator as a reminder. Note: no candidate campaign committee or financial filings are required for County Central Committee races. Step 7. File by candidate filing deadline. File candidate form 2L or 2M on or before the 90th day prior to the primary election at the county BOE by 4 p.m. After a few days, if your candidate form is approved, you will appear on the certified candidate list at the BOE. Your name will now appear on the ballot in the primary election, usually as the last selection of candidates on the ballot under Member of County Central Committee. If you missed the deadline, or if your candidate form is not approved, you have 18 more days to file as a write-in candidate by filling out Form number 13 from the Secretary of State and submitting it to your Board of Elections on or before the 72nd day prior to the primary election. Here's the link for Form 13. Make sure you fill out Form 13 properly. After your name and address, fill in the office as Member of County Central Committee. Check the box full term commencing. Leave line blank. Then after the comma and the words in the blank, write the jurisdiction you wish to represent to the County Central Committee. Then for the last section, check the third box for election to the office of Member of County Central Committee and fill in the blanks for your party and the date of the primary election. Write-in deadline. To be a write-in candidate, you must be certified as such by the Board of Elections by filing Form number 13 at the BOE on or before the 72nd day at 4 p.m. prior to the primary election. Your name will not appear on the ballot, but there will be the option write-in under the position Member of County Central Committee, usually the last selection on the ballot. The voter must select that option, then write in your name. Only votes for certified write-in candidates will be counted. Make sure prospective voters know how to write your name in. Filing your candidate form and getting certified as a candidate is the most important hurdle to cross. You may not have any opponent, so one vote, your own, will get you elected. Whether or not you have an opponent, the following steps will help you successfully campaign and reach out to your constituents in the jurisdiction you wish to represent. Step 8. Distribute campaign literature. Once you have been certified as a candidate, you can begin reaching out to your entire list of likely voters. An initial mass distribution to your entire targeted list at least 30 days prior to Election Day is optimal. Either hand deliver or do a mailing at this time if you can afford it. Since early voting starts about 4 weeks prior to Election Day, your overall objective is to make sure your whole list of prospective voters gets your literature piece at least once during the 5 weeks before Election Day. Go door to door to meet as many voters in person as you can and finish off with a final mailing or drop the week before election. Plan ahead. Get enough literature printed to cover all phases. Step 9. Do door-to-door campaigning. Go door to door and meet your constituents. Talk in person to your most likely voters all the way up to Election Day. Hand them a piece of your literature. If you invest in yard signs, ask them to put one in their yard. If they are really interested in your campaign, recruit them as a volunteer to host a meet and greet. Help get out the vote in the neighborhood and hand out literature at the precinct polls on Election Day. Beyond that, you can ask them to join your grassroots contact network in the neighborhood and consider becoming a poll worker or observer. Step 10. Chase the absentee voters. Obtain daily updates of absentee ballot requests from the Board of Elections starting the first day of early voting, continuing through the last week before the election. Immediately mail or hand deliver your literature to them. Door knock if possible. Absentee address labels may be downloaded from the BOE website. Your literature should arrive before or on the same day they receive their absentee ballot in the mail. Step 11. Do a final delivery the last week before Election Day. Mail or hand deliver your literature to remaining targeted voters so they get it the weekend before Election Day. Consider including your own recommended candidates list or slate card for them to take with them to the polls. Make sure your name is prominently displayed as the last name on the list. Step 12. Do Election Day get out the vote activities. Get volunteers to help you personally pass out your literature to voters at precinct voting locations as they are walking into the polls. Stay at least 100 feet from entrance to the polls. Whip the vote by checking the 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. voter tallies posted inside the polls and contact those who have not voted yet. Polls close at 7:30 p.m. Obtain results from each precinct poll in your jurisdiction. They are posted on the door at the end of the day, between 8 and 8:30 p.m., perhaps later. Absentee and early vote results should be posted at the Board of Elections website live results feed immediately after the polls close at 7:30 p.m. Join the movement to reclaim our political institutions by your participation in the precinct strategy. Use your agency. If you would like a downloadable transcript of this presentation and other useful information, or if you need further assistance, contact us at ohioprecinctstrategy.org.